You've been taught that rich people flex. Big cars, gold chains, designer logos, watches that cost more than your car. You've been taught wrong. And by the end of this video, you're going to know the 3 exact signs that separate a real millionaire from a broke man pretending to be one. Plus, the one habit almost every wealthy person shares that nobody ever talks about. Stay until the end, because number 3 is the one that will make you look at every rich person you know completely differently. Let me start with a story. A few years ago, a man walked into a board meeting in downtown Chicago wearing a watch that cost $12. Plastic strap, digital display, the kind of watch you'd find in a gas station. The meeting was for a deal worth $2 billion. Everyone else in that room was wearing Rolexes, tailored Italian suits, cufflinks that cost more than a used car. And yet, when he spoke, the entire room went quiet. Nobody questioned him, nobody doubted him, because the people in that room already knew who he was, and he had nothing left to prove. That $12 watch wasn't an accident. It was a message, and once you understand that message, you'll never look at wealth the same way again. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people don't want to hear. The moment someone needs you to know they're rich, they usually aren't. Not really. Not in the way that lasts. Real wealth is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. Think about the last time you saw someone driving a brand new luxury car. Did you assume they were successful? Most people do, but here's what almost nobody thinks about. That car is very often financed. Someone making $80,000 a year can walk into a dealership and drive out in a car worth $90,000 with nothing down and a payment plan stretched over 7 years. The car looks like wealth. The bank account tells a completely different story. Meanwhile, the man parked 2 spots away in a 10-year-old gray Toyota Corolla with a cracked side mirror might be sitting on $4 million in index funds, real estate, and a business he built from nothing. You would never know it by looking at him, and that's exactly the point. This brings us to the first sign. The first thing that separates people who look rich from people who are rich. Real wealth avoids debt-funded appearances. Every dollar spent on looking successful is a dollar that isn't compounding, isn't growing, isn't working quietly in the background while you sleep. Wealthy people understand something that most people never learn. Money that's spent on appearance is money that's gone forever. Money that's invested keeps multiplying year after year, silently, without needing anyone's approval. The moment you start optimizing your life for what other people think you have, you've already lost the game that actually matters. The game of what you actually have. But there's something even deeper going on here, something psychological. Showing off is, in a strange way, a form of insecurity. When someone constantly needs validation, new shoes, new bag, new car every 2 years, there is very often an emptiness they're trying to fill. Psychologists have studied this for decades. The need for external validation usually intensifies when internal security is missing. People who are truly secure in their financial position don't need the world to confirm it for them. They already know, and that knowing is worth more than any logo ever could be. This is why so many of the wealthiest people in the world, the ones running actual companies, the ones with real net worth in the tens or hundreds of millions, dress like everyone else. Not because they're cheap, because they simply don't need the performance anymore. Now here's where it gets strange, and this is something almost nobody tells you. There's a well-known story about the founder of IKEA, a man who built one of the largest furniture empires on the planet. For most of his life, he drove an old Volvo. He flew economy class. He shopped at markets looking for discounts on vegetables, the same way anyone trying to save money would. People who didn't know better assumed he was just another retiree living a simple life. He wasn't chasing simplicity for the aesthetic of it. He understood something that most people spend their entire lives missing. Every unnecessary expense is a small leak in a boat that's supposed to carry you somewhere. Plug enough leaks, and that boat can cross oceans. Ignore them and you'll be bailing water for the rest of your life, no matter how much comes in. This leads us to the second sign, and it's one that will genuinely surprise you if you've never thought about it this way before. Wealthy people treat money like a tool for freedom, not a tool for status. Every purchase gets filtered through one silent question. Does this move me closer to freedom, or does this move me closer to needing more money to maintain an image? A flashy car needs insurance, maintenance, gas, and constant upkeep to maintain its new status. A paid-off, reliable car needs almost none of that. One of those choices buys you years of your future back. The other quietly steals them. Rich people, the real ones, understand this trade instinctively, and they make the trade in favor of freedom almost every single time, even when nobody's watching. Especially when nobody's watching. And this is the part most people get wrong when they picture what wealth actually looks like. They picture consumption, vacations, cars, watches, mansions with gates. But if you actually study self-made millionaires, not people who inherited money but people who built it, a strange pattern emerges over and over again. Many of them live in the same house for decades. Many of them drive cars until the wheels fall off. Many of them could easily afford five-star everything and choose instead to live almost invisibly. Not out of guilt, not out of fear, but because they've already figured out that the things money can buy stop mattering once you have enough of them, and what starts mattering instead is control over your own time, your own choices, your own life. Which brings us to the third sign, the one I promised you at the beginning, the one that changes how you'll see every person you meet from now on. Real wealth is measured in options, not objects. A person with real financial security can walk away from a bad job without panic. They can say no to a toxic client, a toxic relationship, a toxic situation, because they aren't trapped by payments they can't afford to miss. That freedom to say no, that is the actual definition of being rich. Not the car in the driveway, not the watch on the wrist, not the followers on a screen. The ability to make decisions based on what you want instead of what you're financially forced into is the single clearest sign of real wealth. And it is completely invisible from the outside. You cannot photograph freedom. You cannot post a picture of options, which is exactly why the people who have the most of it are usually the quietest about what they have. So if you're still trying to look successful, here's the hard truth. You might be the exact reason you're not. Every dollar spent trying to appear wealthy is a dollar that could have been building actual wealth instead. Every loan taken out for an image is a loan that delays the freedom that image was supposed to represent in the first place. The flashiest person in the room is very often the one working the hardest to convince everyone, including themselves, that they've already made it. And the quietest person in the room, the one in the plain clothes, the modest car, the unremarkable house, might already be the one who has nothing left to prove. The next time you see someone who looks rich, ask yourself a different question than the one you're used to asking. Don't ask what they have. Ask what they don't need. Because the people who have truly made it stopped needing your approval a long time ago. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real secret. Not looking rich, but quietly becoming free. If this shifted the way you think about money, stay close, because the next video breaks down the exact habits these quiet millionaires practice every single day. Habits so simple you're probably already ignoring them.